Hello, Dick, and hello, Dickheads. This is the Facebook group news, and with me today is Dustin. Dustin, the creator of the Dick Show Facebook group, a true legend in our realm. I can't say the same for Reddit. However, thank you for taking the time to be with me today, and Dustin, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dickheads. How's it going?
Very good, very good. Dustin, I'm going to start off by saying this is the first time your voice has graced the airwaves with the Dick Show, and really anything, in however many months. I don't know if this is going to be on the show, but if it is, do you consider this fair game in terms of your Reddit challenge, or is this a fair loophole?
I don't think this is any fucking loophole. I think this is absolutely 100% fair. I was approved by Reddit to come on the show months ago, and for whatever reason, that never happened. I'd just like to say, vote up conspiracy dipshits, because I'm pretty sure there's a conspiracy to keep Dustin off of the Dick Show.
A conspiracy on the behalf of who?
Someone that's closely tied to the show, somebody that's involved in the behind the scenes of the show. I feel like they may have some sort of animosity towards me, and they're kind of sabotaging my career.
You know, sabotage is a word I use in one of these questions, and that's really interesting that you bring that up. And before we get into the Dustin goss, I mean, we got the Maddox goss, but the Dustin goss is a lot hotter, if you ask me. I wanted to ask, do you still listen to the Dick Show regularly?
Semi-regularly. I put on the show whenever I can. I've been really busy. I've been keeping up with all of Nick Rekieta's streams of the lawsuit. I've been keeping up of all the latest goss droppings involving that. The show, I'll throw it on every week and listen to it. If I don't finish the episode by the time the next one comes out, I'll just jump to the next one. So I do still actively listen, just not as hardcore as before.
So Reddit didn't sour your taste on the show. Reddit didn't fuck anything up for you in terms of the Dick Show?
No, not at all. Not at all. And honestly, I really don't have much animosity towards anybody in Reddit. There's one person that I really don't like in Reddit, and I first encountered them actually in the YouTube streams. I'm not going to say their name, but fuck that person. And everybody else is absolutely fine. I mean, they post a little, their posts are a little long, too long, didn't reads, but other than that, they're all right. I feel like the Facebook people and the Reddit people really are like very similar. They're like two different spectrums, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would say I've been on there before on Reddit, and I've made the point that both groups are total autists in different regards. And that was another question I had. I guess we'll get to it now. Can you compare the gentleman on Reddit to the gentleman on Facebook? Because I can't think of anybody else who has had more of a hands-on interaction with both the guys on Reddit and Facebook. So what would you say some of the differences between these gentlemen are?
All right, let's say you were at a college house party and you were surveying the scene. The people that are on the Reddit, the dickheads of Reddit, they would be the ones that would be sitting in the corner. Maybe there would be a Flaming Lips album playing. They're going to be talking amongst themselves for very long periods of time about who the fuck knows what. The dickheads of Facebook would be doing keg stands, throwing their buddies out the window, setting the backyard on fire, and then probably hooking up with some chicks. Now, the guys on Reddit, they probably would hook up with some chicks too, but those girls are going to be the girls with daddy issues. Maybe they're a little weirder. They might stick around a little too long, where Facebook guys, it's more of a get in and get out kind of scenario.
That's a great comparison, and thankfully I'm using push to chat because the whole time I was laughing at that. It's pretty accurate. Yeah, the guys on Facebook would probably be getting shit faced, and the guys on Reddit would be in the corner with their TLDR discussion. So now I actually asked, at what point did you? Well, I was going to ask you, at what point did you realize your relationship with Reddit was not salvageable? But apparently, you think you have a good relationship with those guys. There is over 4,000 people in that group. So for you to only have a true issue with one person, I suppose that you would consider your relationship with them at the moment healthy, because you said you pitch bits to them.
I have pitched bits to them, and I wouldn't consider it healthy, but I wouldn't consider it soured. I feel like a lot of them just never really cared for my bits or my segments, and that's fine. It was a part of the show that was dedicated to a completely separate platform than what they engaged with. I feel if they were to have some of their own representation or do some of their own content, their opinions might have changed a little bit. But also, to be fair, I've had a bit approved by Reddit. I came up with an idea to do a documentary at the Chicago Road Rage, and they loved the idea, and they were behind it 100%. And like I said, I feel like there might have been some behind the scenes fuckery that kind of held me back. I feel like Reddit deserves to have something at this point from me, and I'd like to give them that documentary at some point, maybe in the future. But we got to figure out this conspiracy thing, because I'm telling you, somebody is trying to fuck with me.
One last thing before we get to this conspiracy. You're actually being very amicable toward Reddit and saying that they deserve something. Don't you think that they should just step up to the plate? And maybe their saltiness regarding you is because they didn't have any representation on the show. So do you think you have to be the representation, or do they need to step up and find somebody? They have 4,000 people on that subreddit. There's got to be someone somewhere with some idea that can do something for the show.
I don't deserve at all to be their representative. And to be honest with you, I don't think anybody could be their representative. Sovash tried. It lasted for one episode, and then he disappeared. Now, he posts from time to time on Reddit. I'll see him posting on there, because I do actively go on there. But as far as they're concerned, it's like, think of it, you ever see piranhas, the way that they act in nature?
Yes.
They're just constantly jumping over each other and nibbling and taking bites. Whoever gets to the top of that carcass, they're getting bit and they're getting pulled back down, like immediately. So they can't have representation, because they're just gonna fucking eat their own. It's like they would have to somehow construct a person out of multiple people, like the Muppets, where they would have like two people for the legs, one person for the body, then one person on their shoulders, and then like a big coat over them.
Yeah.
Like that's what their representation would need to be. It would be a bunch of people together acting like almost like a Gundam or a mech of some sort.
Well, I'd argue that no one ever gets appointed to be a representative. I think you have to kind of earn it, which is kind of my argument, that someone should really step up on their behalf and take that reign, grab the brass ring. But let's move on to the conspiracy that you've mentioned twice now. Would you like to elaborate on what this conspiracy could possibly be, the Dustin goss?
Well, I don't know how much I can get into, but let's just say I was given the challenge of coming up with a bit or something to be approved by Reddit in order for me to return to the show. And
you got the approval.
Well, did I? Here's the thing. I came up with the idea of creating a documentary. I wanted to travel out. I run and operate a production company on the side. Some people know that. I shot the Philly Road Rage. That footage was all shot by me. It wasn't edited by me, but it was shot by me. I wanted to do a weeks-long behind-the-scenes documentary of the Chicago Road Rage. And what ended up happening was I was told via somebody involved with the Dick Show behind the scenes that if I got it approved by the Reddit, that it was a go and that we could do the documentary. It was my in back to the show. That was my challenge. So I posted it up there, and the response was overwhelming. It was, I think from my eyes and anybody else that looked at it, it was a definite approval. And what had happened was when push came to shove, Dick actually looked at it and said, I never agreed to this. And I never said that this was going to happen if they got approval. So somebody spoke on Dick's behalf and gave me the impression that that was my end. And when push came to shove, that wasn't accepted. So I don't know. I don't know at this point. I feel like I got the approval. I feel like I should have done that. I feel like that should have been a thing that happened.
So the person that you say may have sabotaged you is not Dick, it's not Sean, it's nobody, none of the beloved people that we've come to know on the streams every Sunday.
No. It's somebody else that I would say probably most people in the audience would know the name. but they would probably know of the person and know him or her. But this was the person that I spoke with directly about the documentary, and they had spoken on Dick's behalf, I guess erroneously.
Well, I can appreciate you not wanting to say name. You don't want to get sued for $20 million. You don't want to get in any lawsuits, and you're a professional. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, we can leave it at that. That's some Dustin goss. It's some hot, steamy goss right from Dustin. The person that you say sabotaged you, do you have any desire to fight that person in a sanctioned boxing match or an unsanctioned street fight?
That would depend. That would depend. One, how much training would I get beforehand? Two, what would the rules be? Is it like no holds barred? Is there, there needs to be some serious discussion about that. I would consider it. I would also consider possibly doing something else, some other sort of challenge. I don't know what that would be, but.
Well, what if that was your way back on the show? You had to fight this guy in a sanctioned boxing match or an unsanctioned street fight. I mean, really, I think the ball would be in your court. This is your bit. You can propose a fight. I think that'd be fucking 100%. You're back on the show. You get into a fight.
Like I said, if there was enough time for training involved, then that would be a possibility. But to be honest with you, I'm not really all too big into boxing or MMA. What about like a sword fight?
Yeah. Well, yeah, a sword fight could work. I mean,
I'm not joking. I mean, like, what about?
No,
like,
I know you're not joking. That'd be fucking awesome. We've had plenty of fights already. We've had the Kimball Clegg thing that never came to fruition. Asterios. Okay. We had the first Dick Show sword fight between Dustin and the guy who wronged him of being back on the Dick Show.
Have you seen Highlander?
Yes, I have.
It would be kind of like that.
That is brilliant, and we'll see what happens with this interview, but that could probably gain steam very quickly. That's really good stuff. Do you continue to think about and brainstorm bits despite the wrongs that have occurred to you in the past?
I do. They come to me from time to time. Like we had a massive blizzard a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to pay one of our other dickheads to come take all of the snow from in front of my house and transport it directly into Chelsea's driveway. Just all of it. All the fucking snow. Take it all. And just put it directly in front of her house and in her driveway, just to fuck with her. Like I thought that would be a pretty funny bit to do, but that would be a video bit. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be like a call in. But I do get ideas from time to time. I do get little bits here and there.
That's genius. And you know what? Every bit you've presented so far has been top tier quality. And for anyone who's giving you shit on Reddit needs to reconsider, because all three of these things sound great. Putting snow in someone's driveway, that's an all-time great prank.
It is when you have to spend 12 hours a day fucking clearing it when you live in goddamn northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the amount of effort that went into it alone is admirable. Even if the bit was terrible, all that effort, you deserve a round of applause for that. Next question, do you own any Dickles?
I own one Dickel. Wait, hold on. Are you talking about the actual physical Dickel, or are you talking about the cryptocurrency?
I'm talking about the revolutionary cryptocurrency that will be used as a medium for transactions sometime in the future,
okay.
The cryptocurrency.
Because I don't have the cryptocurrency, but I do have a physical Dickel from Road Rage Philly. There was physical Dickels that were given out, and I have one.
That's really cool. Perhaps for doing this interview, I can send you a couple. I got about 86 Dickles, and I'm planning to retire in about 20 years.
My word, you are quite the wealthy fellow.
Then Dick has been asking guests about what hand they use to masturbate with. Would you care to share that information with us? And also elaborate on your strong hand versus your weak hand. Which one you use?
Strong hand's right hand, weak hand's left hand. Normally I use my right hand. Sometimes I use strangers' right hands.
What does that mean? What is the stranger's right hand?
That is when you just ask a complete stranger, hey, will you jerk me off?
Interesting. So if you are getting a handy randy from somebody, you prefer that they use the right hand. So you have a preference for other people as well.
Yes, I prefer their right hand, whether or not they are left-handed. but they have to be a complete and total stranger.
All right, that's good stuff, Dustin. I got one last question for you. It's gonna be the hardest one I've asked you all day. Ass or tits?
You know, I've always been a tits guy, but as I've gotten older, I've come around to the holy grail of tail. I've become more of an ass guy in the past 5-10 years, I'd say.
That's really interesting because Dick and a lot of the other guys in the show, we've heard emails about it that as they get older and as they mature, they appreciate the fertility of a big butt as opposed to tits. So perhaps tits is kind of a thing for adolescents, and that's a good judge of where the age group is for the Dick Show listeners. But yeah, I'm an ass man as well for the exact same reasons.
I never put any sort of category, like I've never categorized the reason, but that makes sense. The fertility, the wider hips, right, things like that. But I don't know. I've just become more allured to that illustrious, forgotten background. All I'm saying, I've just become more aroused by that illustrious, forgotten backyard.
Absolutely, Dustin. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And this has been the Dick Show Facebook Room News for the last 7 months, or however long Dustin has been off the show. So again, Dustin, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. Go fuck yourself.